Identify risks. This is one of those processes that forms the basis for many other processes in a knowledge area. Our main goal here is to identify and document which risks could affect the project positively or negatively. So let's take a look at the laundry list of items, the sheer huge list that we've got before us here. Risk management plan, cost management plan, schedule management plan, quality management plan, human resource management plan, scope baseline, activity cost estimates, activity duration estimates, stakeholder register, project documents, procurement documents, EEFs, and OPAs. What a laundry list of inputs. Oh my goodness. What on earth are we going to do with all of these? There's one thing that we can do with all of these: a documentation review. So let's take a step back. All of these are plans or documents that need to be reviewed, because we could have risks in our processes and procedures. We could have risks in our thought process. We could have risks in our cost estimates, in our duration estimates. We could have problems in how we carried out our stakeholder identification. Also, having your stakeholder register enables you to see if everyone who should be in identifying risks is actually there. Why do we need all of this? The answer is for documentation reviews. We need to review these documents for inherent risks. Our cost estimates could have risks. Our duration estimates could have risks. Our stakeholder register needs to be looked at, because we want to get all of those stakeholders involved in the identification of risks. If we carry out our identify risks process and we suddenly realize, oh, there's a stakeholder involved in identifying risks, but they're not on the stakeholder register, of course we need to make updates. So all of this laundry list of inputs, not only does the risk management plan guide this process, but all the other documents and plans and baselines should be reviewed through a documentation review to find any possible risks. We've got information gathering techniques, the easy ones we remember, questionnaires and surveys and interviews, of course. Checklist analysis, using a checklist as a basis for identifying risks. So if you've got a list from a previous project of certain risks you identified, you could use that checklist as a way of identifying risks on a current project. Assumptions analysis, analyzing your assumptions. Where do your assumptions live in the scope baseline? What is in the scope baseline? What is in the scope baseline? I'm about to go into broken record mode. I hope you remember. It's the WBS and what? Dictionary, WBS dictionary, and the project scope statement. So your assumptions analysis, you'll use your scope statement, your project scope statement to do that. Diagramming techniques will also be talked about here. You probably remember your Ishikawa diagram, I hope. You remember flow charts and stuff. SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats can be used to glean risks, possible risks on the project. An expert judgment, of course, you need expertise to weigh where risk could come from. And the big and the only output is risk register. This is a humongous one in the world of project management, because you could manage your project all day long, but if you don't identify risks, they will come back to bite you. And this is where you document all of your risks. So we've got quite a lot to talk about. Let's get started.